Okay, we're recording.
All right. Tonight, I am really excited talking about leadership mindset. Share. Okay. Here we go. So let me put you over here. Okay, can everyone see my stuff?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. So we wanted to talk to you guys about the leadership mindset because ultimately being a Beachbody coach, the goal is to lead your challengers and lead your team. And there is definitely there's a difference between, leading your challengers and then leading your team. We are all on Team Boom, and I don't know how many of you guys are actively on Team Boom's calls on Tuesdays, but my direct upline is Annie, so she is like the queen of Team Boom. But I know that Team Boom as a whole definitely preaches and teaches us to lead a team of leaders. There is a definite difference in leading leaders and then leading a team of followers. And so what me and Kelsey wanted to really touch base on is how you can use some of the same tools that you provide as a coach to challengers and a coach to a team. And one of them is finding a success partner. So the whole gist of what we do is telling people that the accountability of a challenge group is what's going to make you successful in your fitness journey with these products and really in general in life, I feel like. But we preach accountability. So the same goes for you being a leader. So when you want to level up in your business, it is going to benefit you to find somebody or multiple people to hold you accountable in doing the things that you need to be doing in order to hit the goals that you're striving for. So finding a success partner. Who do you work with? Well, it's a team building business. And so if you want to build your team and build your volume, because we like to build deep, it's a good idea to work with people who are in your downline or in some cases in your upline. So how do you find those people? You would either reach out to your direct upline and ask them to pair you with somebody who is either in the same place as you coaching wise on your coaching journey, or if your upline coach knows that two people are reaching or striving for the same goal, then that would be someone good to pair yourself with. And then why would you even need a partner? Because I always say this, hustle is contagious. When you start giving off those vibes that you are in it and you are trying to level up, other people want to be around that, So it's like, I remember when I was working in a salon and I was just getting paid commission and I wasn't making that much money because I was fine with being with someone. I was working next to someone who didn't really care about being busy, and we would just hang out in the back room all the time and not get paid because we didn't have anyone in our chair. And in the back of my mind, I was constantly like already thinking about, should I go out on my own and booth rent and really run my business myself? And I was gaining clients because I was posting my hair pictures on my Instagram. So it wasn't even like the salon itself was supporting me or pushing me as a young hip like stylist and trendy and whatever. Like I was doing it all on my own, but I was actually kind of just complacent because I wanted to hang out with my coworker because that was her mindset. She was just like, she didn't really care about working. She wasn't. And so I needed to be with other people who wanted to like move their business forward. And I needed to be around that. And so the same goes for coaching. You want to surround it's so hard to like hang out virtually with someone who's like, oh, what are you doing? Like, wow, I'm doing 20 invites. What are you doing? And you're sitting there scrolling. They're like, no shit, if she's doing 20 invites, I need to get my invites up. So it's really important to stay close to the fire. That's why the live events, we talk about this all the time. The same goes for your bat. So it's like the message threads, and whether you run a private Facebook group with a group of you who are, you can do it in so many different ways. I feel like I have 20 million accountability partners, and every day I'm getting Zoom links over and over again, like working. And so it's like, if I'm constantly getting messages of people who are on Zoom right now working, and I'm sitting on my couch watching Netflix, and yeah, there are plenty of time, well, not plenty of times, I don't ever get to watch TV, but there are times where I choose not to. But most of the time I'm like, shit, if I have even 10 minutes to get on and show up for these people and get something quick done, that's a win in my book. So what do you do with your success partner? A very good idea, if you're a newer coach or you're just unsure about, because you might not have a team yet, but you want to get there, is you could both decide to listen to the same personal development book. Podcasts are great, but a book is just, it has a topic. It has, and podcasts are good, but a lot of times, they are good for like, if you're going on a walk or, whatever. I think it's important that we all implement an actual book, and something to follow. So you can find a personal development book, and you guys can share your top takeaways and schedule these meetings with each other to really reflect on what you've read and share your top takeaways, and then challenge each other to implement the things that you've learned into your coaching business, and then check in on each other. And sometimes you're going to need a gut check, and that's okay. And we all need those. Team trainings, YouTube. I don't have my notebook. It's over there. The notebook that I bought when I decided that I was going to coach, the very first page, it says 6/22/2018, and it says day 1, and it was like the 7-day quick start to coaching or whatever that Annie had sent me. And I have notes all 7 days. Like, I was on there looking at different trainings. I realized that they were on YouTube. So in my downtime, because I didn't have a team to coach and I was learning how to be a coach, I watched every single training I could. Every single training. If you go to Ashley Fell Dyson's YouTube, she puts all of her team calls on YouTube. There are endless team trainings on there. So you guys could pick a training once a week, again, discuss it and implement what you learn. If you guys are working on, pick a topic. If you guys are working on your Instagram, or if you want to work on how to develop, a team page, like there's literally everything. Invites. Who has no time, even though everyone's at home all the time? Yes. We're all like, okay, I feel like I don't even have a minute, especially with the kids home. You're like, how do I get anything done? Because I feel like sometimes I'm just like running in circles. The text thread is awesome. I have sent texts many of times, like just a little check-in, like just sent 5 invites, like blast them out. Honestly, who hides in the bathroom from their kids for like a short amount of time? Possibly. Blast out 5 invites. Or like when you're switching the laundry, okay, switch the laundry and I'm not leaving the laundry room until I send 5 more. Like, just find the little tiny pockets of time to do the income producing activities, because the number one income producing activity is inviting. Number one. If you're not inviting, no one's like, it's a lot more rare for someone to be like, hey girl, heard you running that challenge group, I would love to get in. Like, it's just rare. So at the very least, just send the invite and walk away. Especially, it's great to do it when you're pressed for time, because then you're not sitting here like thinking about it, and you kind of put a little bit of pressure on yourself, and you're like, okay, well, I have to send these out right now, and I don't even have time to see if like someone sent me a hate message afterwards, because I have to get back to my kids. So it's like, it's perfect to do it when you're pressed for time, because you just get it done and then you leave. The power hours, make them a priority. Like, you have to. The power hours have been a game changer for me, especially now, because people who weren't home are now home. And so there's plenty more people in our team that are home that are like down to do a power hour on Zoom. You just have to make sure that if it's going to be a priority for your business, you have to communicate that with the people at your home, in your home. It's an argument if you don't. It's just, you can't miscommunicate what you're trying to do if it's something that you really want. You have to be very clear to your spouse about your goals, because all they hear you say is, I'm going to disappear for an hour. I need you to take care of the kids, or I need you to do this. But when you are making it about something else, then they know why you're doing it. It's like, I told my husband, I was like, I would really love to match one of your paychecks this month. That's what I'm trying to do. I want to match one of your paychecks. And so now he knows what I'm striving for. And so after every power hour, and ever since he's been home, he's like, did you sell any challenge packs today? Did you sell any challenge packs today? Like, he wants to know. And so he knows that I'm not just down here, looking at TikTok, because I'm not. I want to be. I'm not. We're learning how to do the dances. I'm not. But it's important. And so a lot of times he knows who I'm doing the Zoom calls with. And as soon as he hears us start small talking, he'll chime in. And so it's good socialization for him too. But he knows that it's important, and he knows that I'm working really hard, because he's not working right now. And so it is my mission to prove to him that I can make this happen.
And I was going to chime in real quick, Mel.
Yeah.
Back on your slide, what you do with your Success Club partner, something too, like, I mean, most of us, or a lot of us, are moms. We have kids at home, and I think it's really important to know that you aren't in this alone. And especially when you really find a person who has similar goals to you, or has a similar lifestyle to you, you guys can also divide and conquer. So obviously your Success Club partner can't send your invites for you. But you know what? When you can't watch the maybe 4 recommended trainings in the last 2 weeks, maybe one of you does 2, one of you does 2, and you have notes and you share, the takeaways. Because a call for a mom to take an hour and, go through a call is a lot. And I get it. Like, we're all in the same boat. We all have, some of us have full-time jobs, part-time jobs, or a lot of us are moms. But we want you to focus, like Mel said, on the income producing activities. But at the same time, look for ways to really partner with somebody. Because when I found my Success Club partner, or success partners, and I have a lot now, but I initially started with Christina and Aaron running groups together. And we really just, when one of us had some more downtime, we could really focus on getting the group up and running, this was like 2 years ago, before they had like challenge group guides and really cool things like that. So we had to do a lot more. And it's just all about not trying to do it all and focusing on the things that will move your business forward, but finding someone who you can trust, you guys can, divide, conquer, will really make a huge difference too.
Okay. This is a very short list. There's a million books out there. But for leadership mindset in particular, I think everyone should read or listen to Build to Last. And I believe it's in this book that he talks about he does this activity where he has you write down, correct me if I'm wrong, Kelsey. He has you write down 5 people in our business that you follow that you admire. And for me, it was a lot of top coaches who I follow. And then he says, now write down a characteristic of them that you like. And for me, you know, and characteristic as in like, okay, I really like watching Ashley Fell-Dyson. I think I'm actually like living vicariously through her because she's young and she's cute and she's trendy and whatever. But what I love about her is that she doesn't complain. She really does try to just be a happy person on Instagram, and someone where you can go and just feel good. That's like, I think that she really does a good job at making people feel good just by watching her stories. And I find myself smiling when I'm watching her stories. You know what I mean? And it's just, and that's a characteristic that I want. Like, I want people to feel that way when they watch my stories. I want them to be able to come to my Instagram stories when they're in like a really bad mood, and then all of a sudden like feel just a little bit better when they're done. And so that's what I'm working on being in every aspect of my life, because I've been the negative person before, and I have tried to understand how someone can be positive all the time and always look on the bright side. And I just didn't think that it was something that you could develop. I thought you either were a pessimist or an optimistic. I didn't know that it was something that you could change about yourself. And so it takes so much more energy to like complain and be negative, and it's like, it's kind of exhausting. So be that person, like learn what to do in order to be the type of leader you like to watch. You have to adapt those characteristics, because you will start to see and feel the feedback when you start to change and become who you want to be. But you have to take the action. You can't just wake up one day and all of a sudden, like, you're who you want to be. It's something that we work at every single day. Do you want to take over now? Do you want to share your screen, or do you want me to just
yeah, you can leave it on. I'll just look at your screen.
Okay.
Yeah, so just to continue on what Mel said, I think, and I know I see a lot of newer coaches on this call tonight. I know we both have newer coaches that will be listening to this call, and we have coaches that have been doing this for a while. But maybe because you don't have many challengers, or you don't have any coaches or many coaches, doesn't diminish the fact that, I mean, you're still a leader. When you signed up to invest in your health, and maybe you just became a discount coach, you came into a role of inspiring people, whether or not they sign up with you or not. So you really are a leader. And so even if someone isn't actually your challenger, isn't your coach, you're still leading. You're leading a team. And when you start to get challengers, you're leading challengers. And when you get your first coach, you're leading a coach. So you want to make sure you are developing this leadership mindset very early on, because if you tell yourself you're a leader, and it sounds silly, but you really are. And I think sometimes we overcomplicate like what it is we do, as far as like, okay, I have the challenger, now what I do with them. It's really simple. And even a couple years into this business, I go back and listen to training calls, because I'm always learning too. And our upline, so all of us are on a bigger upline, which is Team Boom, which Mel's directly, her coach is on that team. but the very tippy top of the team, his name is Pat. I was listening to one of his calls recently, and the way he breaks down what we do is just so simplistic. So you get your first challengers, all you're doing is you're setting them up for success, and you're leading them to whatever their goal is, because you've asked that. And you're giving them, you're not a trainer, you're not a nutritionist, but you're giving them the tools they need by way of nutrition programs, the Beachbody On Demand, a supplement, whatever it is that they need, because you've had that experience with it. So that's where you get to play your role as a coach and as a leader. So you're not doing anything that, you know, is crazy hard or takes up a ton of time. You're literally just cheering them on. And so this is where you really get a chance to develop this leadership, because you set them up for success. So in here, you know, we have all different templates and guides. You can send a new challenger. You don't feel like you have to go create something. You have something, like we have templates you can do. But, you know, you want to make sure that whether you're getting on a call with them or you're just talking through them through text message, whatever it is, you're understanding their goals and you're giving them the tools to succeed. So you set them up. And then I think this is where sometimes as new coaches, we feel like we have to go start a new like accountability group, or we have to go start our own group. And we want you to, but I also don't think it has to be super complicated. So Mel and I've been doing this for a little bit longer, and our groups are a lot bigger. When I started, I had 2 challengers, and my success partners had 2 challengers. And I think together we had like 10 girls in a group. I mean, it was teeny tiny. Engagement was low. We, you know, just showed up every day, posted a picture, checked in on our challengers, and that was it. But if you have like girls from college or girls from work or girls, you know, from wherever in your life, you can simply do a text message thread. You could do a Facebook Messenger thread. You could do, you know, it doesn't, an accountability group doesn't have to be this big, crazy, elaborate thing. It can be whatever you feel your people would want. And what's really cool is I think it's at the end of April. There hasn't been too much information about it, but right now a lot of groups are run on Facebook. But Beachbody also has a Challenger app, My Tracker app type app that you can also run groups on. I have personally not used it very often. I like Facebook groups better. However, in just a couple weeks, they're rolling out a platform where you'll actually be able to run a group on Beachbody On Demand. So it'll integrate with Beachbody On Demand. It'll integrate with ShareCart. It's going to be, it sounds like it's going to be really incredible. So I put a trailer of it actually. There's a trailer out today. It kind of made me cry. It's like super an emotional video about moms. But so, you know, just another thing of ways that you can stay connected to your challengers, because at the end of the day, it does not matter how your people get accountability. It's just that they have it. I mean, I have challengers that aren't on Facebook, and I have a challenger who texts me every single day to let me know she did her workout. And I love that. And I always ask them, do you want me to text you every day? Do you want me to check in monthly? Whatever it is, I'll set an alarm. Like, I don't care, because my goal as your coach is just to see you get results. And that's just part of this leadership mindset. And then the thing where the business I just saw Leah's message. The thing where the business gets exciting and where you have the opportunity to grow your team of leaders, to grow your income potential, is finding other leaders. And this is something what I've really struggled with, because personally, I felt like I needed to find a coach who was just going to come tell me they were ready to coach. And that never happens. So, and this is actually something I heard from the call I was listening to from Pat recently, where, you know, when you see somebody, one of your challengers, like totally rocking it in your challenge group, or just someone who's consistently showing up, ask them to help you lead a week of your challenge group. Ask them to, you know, do a post every Sunday. Start to have them take on a little bit of ownership. And then let them know, you know what, you're doing exactly what I do as a coach. And right there, you have the opportunity to start to develop a leader by not even realizing maybe they are. And those are where your best coaches come from. I was a free group like person who joined my coach, and then I was just a discount coach. And then one day she just asked me if I wanted to start posting because I was doing so well. And I was like so honored. I'm super competitive too. So I was like, yes, like I'm going to like, I didn't realize you could schedule. I don't even know if you could schedule posts back then. So I would like get up like super early, make sure my post was ready. Like I was so into it. And then I realized that I could coach. And that was like the shift I needed. So when you think about like leading, it doesn't have to be like this, you know, you don't just get to a point in your business where like, okay, you're a leader. Like you all are leaders now, whether it's like day 1 or day 20 or day 200. So I think it's just remembering that, you know, you don't have to get to a point, a rank, a quota. There's none of that. It's just simply, you know, finding people around you that just want the accountability and then letting them, you know, start to pass that on to people. Oh, and then I know a lot of you too, we were going to mention this too. I think we get scared too to leave the nest. So when I first started, I was in my coach's accountability group, and then she gave me a day to post or a week to post. And then eventually she said, okay, it's time to go start your own accountability group. And I was like totally scared. But we want you to leave the nest. And again, it doesn't have to be super extravagant. It can just be however you want to run accountability. But we want you to start to, you know, leave the nest, thrive outside of your coach. We're always here to support you. But that's where you really kind of level up, as Mel said, like the leadership game. And yeah, that's all I have.
Can I chime in?
Yeah.
So when I know a lot of you guys are a part of our boot camps. Kelsey and I do not run our challenge groups together, but I know that we both use the content that we purchase from Mompreneur. And that is not something, I just did that last month. I came up with my own content. Was it amazing? It was enough. And that's what I think a lot of people, new coaches now see the amazing graphics and all of the content and what do you say? And I think that's where it gets intimidating because, you know, like she said, you see our groups now and we have 30, 60, you know, 80 people in there, and you feel like you need that many people in order to start your group. And it's not the case. I think the very first group that I ran was a 21-day fix group. And I think 6 or 7 people showed up in the group, and none of them even actually engaged. But I did use the challenge guide that you get from the coach office. And that gave me, that taught me responsibility. And then it slowly started to, like, the more that I was hitting Success Club, it was, I turned it into like just like an ongoing monthly thing. And I always talk about, there's always the conversation of, do you run monthly groups? Do you run program specific groups? And you can do it however you want. We just wrapped up an 80-day group, but that's because it was January and it was a situation where a lot of us coaches started 80-day together, and it was the new year. So we invited to that. But I still always gave people the option, like, okay, well, this is the program that I'm doing. If you're interested in doing that, then I can put you in that group. And I always put them in the monthly group and the program specific group. And I don't, and my sister-in-law was a part of it. She's like, do I have to check in on both? And I said, no, you don't. I was like, check into the 80-day group if that's what you want to do. And then maybe like once a week in the regular like monthly boot camp, just do like a check-in, like week 1 done or week 2 done. But ultimately people can do it however they want. However, when you are starting your own group, and this is why having this, like Kelsey said, having a success partner is good, because you guys can start running your groups together to get more people involved, because nobody knows Nobody looks at the number of your challenge group like, oh, well, this is a dud, like there's only 4 of us. Like, no, you guys, that's a good, like that is a great opportunity for 4 people to really connect and build community with each other. Even if there is 4 people, that would probably be a better chance of them actually exchanging numbers and posting more, because they're not intimidated by how many people are seeing their stuff or asking questions about the things that they're struggling with on their journey. And also, when you are starting your own group and you are creating your own content, that is going to push you to find your own voice as a leader. What is it that you have to say that's inspiring to your clients, your challengers? And that should push you to do even more personal development, because a lot of times before I did Mompreneur, most of my content came from what I was listening to on personal development, my top takeaway. And I would share that with my challengers, because if I gained something out of it, then they would. And I wanted to share that, because this entire thing of what we do is about sharing. And so it pushes you to do personal development, because as long as you're doing that, you always have content to share. It makes you show up to your own challenge group, because you're the one running it. So you have to show up. And it gives you the opportunity to be the leader of your challengers. Not only that, guys, it pushes you to hit Success Club, because you're running the group and you need people in there. And so guess what? You're going to hustle and invite, because as long as you're in your uplines accountability group with 80 people, then you feel like you're just another person who's in the group posting a sweaty selfie. And no one is actually holding you accountable to see if you're adding challengers to the group. So you need to get with another partner, run your own group, and you're going to be like, well, shit, I don't want this group to be empty. I better have some challengers this month. So every single time that you see people being welcome into your uplines challenge group, and you're like, well, why am I not adding any of my people in there? Well, maybe it would put a little bit more pressure on you if it was your group and you needed to add people in there. And so it really is a good opportunity. And you don't want to have 30 people of your people in a group that's being ran by someone else. You want to show up as a leader. They joined you. They want you leading them. And it's great for them to find, connections with other people in the group. But it's also better for you to make a connection with another coach who has very similar goals. And that's who your accountability partner should be. Me and Kelsey had a conversation at Summit. We met, we shared tacos. And then the last night we sat next to each other at dinner, and she was coming home from Summit and going to be a stay-at-home mom. She was leaving her corporate job, and I had been a stay-at-home mom for a couple of months. I was fairly new postpartum with Malcolm, 3 months out, and she asked me, or I asked her, like, would you want to work together? And I was like, I had just was working out for a month after being cleared, and I'm like, yes, like it's go time, like I'm ready. And I remember like getting her number, and I would text her like, okay, so like, what do you want to do? Like, how do you want to do this? And she's like, I'm adjusting to stay at home. I'm like, I have no idea what my schedule is yet. Like, I need to figure this out. And I'm like, okay. And then, it just like, we've been doing these calls for how long? Like a couple of months. Mm-hmm. So it even took us 6 months. It took us 6 months to finally partner up, but we've always stayed in contact. And now we talk, every single day, and we hold each other accountable. She called me out yesterday, like, why did you stop texting me in the morning? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I should have been texting you in the morning. But like, this is what we're doing. Like, you have to communicate. You have to find someone to do this with. Like, it's so important for you to take that leadership role and to brainstorm your ideas and find who you are and what type of leader you are. Because I will tell you, me and Kelsey are not the same. We are very much not the same. She was censoring her cuss word in the text thread yesterday. And I'm just like, just say it. Just say the F word. And I'm over here dropping bombs all the time. But we want the same thing. We have the same goals. We are both we share a lot of things in common, but we are very much different. And I'm so glad that I finally connected and we're doing this together. So I love getting close to people who are different than me. You know, it's always nice when you find your kindred spirit. Hey Mel. But I really love connecting with people who are different, because I feel like, everyone needs different spices in their life. So that's all I got.
Yeah, and I'll add too, I think that with groups and just starting them, it again, like I can't reiterate, I think we just overcomplicate it and think that it has to like have tons of engagement. Like, yes, you want your people getting results, but I have so many challengers who never check in and they've lost 20, 30, 40 pounds, and they have other ways of checking in. So just find the balance of what your people need, because that's how you're going to build your leadership skills and you are going to build a successful team, no matter what your goals are, by just holding people accountable and finding someone to help hold you accountable. And like, I love to, some of you may not know what Mompreneur is, but those of you who do know, or those of you don't, it's just, it gives you can purchase, a lot of us go in together and buy like challenge group guides. And it is great, but I will say, like, just like Mel, I had to create all of mine in the beginning, and it did push me to really like up my reading game. And I have become a little slack with life lately. Sometimes on reading, I've gotten better at it in the mornings, but I will say, like, find the things that you need to hold yourself accountable. Is it, committing to writing 3 or 4 posts a week for your challenge group or whatever it is? Again, don't overcomplicate it, but make sure you're like staying, like you're doing your vitals so you can be the best coach for the person. So they can hit success. Because again, all we do is we provide accountability. We give them the tools that are given to us, and we get them results, and it's all rolled up into one nice package. We don't have to go create the product. We don't have to go, create the office space. So it really is an incredible opportunity. And, I think a lot of people fear just being in this network marketing world, but right now it is the place to be. It's a place where we're all stuck, and we have the opportunity to change lives, to become better leaders ourselves, and just to continue to show up to be the light that I think a lot of people need right now. So, and Mel, I was going to show real quick. I'm going to share and just show like finding like the genealogy. I think that might help. So
I almost just like had a heart attack, because like on my share screen, I'm like, oh my God, is this recording? But it
yeah, no, I'm going to share my screen real quick, because when we talk about your, like, look who's in your leg, I know there's newer coaches, maybe you don't understand what your legs are, but we'll explain that. But what I do want you to do is, if you're curious who is on your leg that would benefit from working together, finding girls like on your upline or in your side of the business that would be good to power hour with, to maybe run groups with, what you want to do is you want to go to Monitor My Business and go to your graphical genealogy. Now this, of course, is like slow half the time for me. And so I can't tell, oh, I logged out. So I won't know, you'll have to check in your individual genealogy which side is your strong leg and which side's your weak leg. But your strong leg is going to be the leg that has coaches that also aren't yours. So for me, that's my right leg. So what you'll do is, this is me at the top. I'm going to go to my bottom right. And what I can do then is, you'll see I have 40 hidden levels. So if I go through all of those people, I'll be able to see all of these names that are other coaches. So Stephanie Walters is not one of my coaches. And so it doesn't have like a PS here. So I would want to go look and see, okay, whose coach is that? Because for me, whenever she does something in her business, it benefits me. I will make volume from that. So she's a great person to, work with closely, to encourage. And I would just go all the way up through every level. So Catherine, she's one of my coaches, so I know her. But there are going to be names that you don't recognize, or there will be names that is on a different team in your upline. So I encourage you to take a look, talk to your coach who's actually working the business, who's just a discount coach, because that's going to help you find people that you guys would both benefit from working together. So, and just furthering your business, I work with people that are not in my line at all, but just know that those are a great place to start too. And your coach too can help you figure out those people are, but just take a look at that and then you'll know who all's on in your line.
Yeah. And I think maybe just because of what we did explain in this call, like, not that we have to explain it, but I think it is important to tell you guys that me and Kelsey decided to work together because we were in a similar place in our business as far as our teams. We had a lot of new coaches in our team. And it started out as like a handful each, and we both had very similar goals, and we both wanted to really dive into team trainings. And so it's always that's why we decided to work together. I might be I'm not in your downline.
I don't think so.
No. So we don't like our what we're doing, we don't benefit each other, but you guys will benefit. We figured, yes, there are times where you can divide and conquer, but we felt like it would be a really good idea for our teams, for you guys to have two leaders giving you calls. I make connections with people who Kelsey doesn't, and vice versa, just like the girl from last week. I had no idea who she was. And so I feel like there's a lot more that is beneficial when I can get a speaker on the call, or Kelsey can. And so that's why her and I have decided to work together. But especially as new coaches, it's a good idea for you guys to work with the people in your downline or possibly your upline. Ann Potter, she's on the call right now. She's in my upline. And so anytime that she adds a coach to her right leg, it goes in my downline. And so I am really focusing hard on volume right now. And so I reached out to Annie and I asked her. And so she connected me with Ann, and I also connected with another one, Ashley. Because as long as they're recruiting, it's giving me volume. And as long as I'm recruiting, I'm giving them volume. So if I can help them in any way, hold them accountable, or, power hour with them, then I want to do that. So that's why she's now in my team page, and it's just a good idea to work together. The more, the merrier.
Yeah, and I was going to show you another view too. If you go to your team volume, so another cool way to look at this is if you go like, this is my strong leg. So all of these people here on this leg, they got someone, they either purchased something last week or they got someone started with something. And so some of these people are on this call. Some of these people are my personally sponsored coaches, but some are not. Some are my coaches' coaches. But every single person's name here all went up to me as well. Like, it all rolled up. So all of us are benefiting from each other. So it's another easy way to do it is go look at what names are in your weekly volume. Even if you aren't an emerald yet, you're still going to see that. As long as you're active, you're still going to see the people that are producing volume. And so those are people who are great to get to know, to shout. Even if you don't work with them, part of it, what's a vital, shouting people out, cheering people on. Because when someone tells me that, like, shouts me out or tells me I'm doing a good job, then like I said, I'm kind of competitive. Like I'm going to keep showing up because I don't want to let that person down, even if I know them or not. So, pay attention to that as well, because those are the people that should get to know and
Yeah,
should cheer on in this
you
business.
can literally get a raise if you reach down into your downline and you help someone in your downline level up. Like, let's just say someone in Kelsey's downline admires her. She knows that, they're connected somehow, but that's not her coach. And she's like, girl, how did you get to diamond? Can you show me how? Like, and Kelsey helps develop that person into a leader. And then all of a sudden, her volume skyrockets and now she's cycling more. So she gets paid more because she helped someone in her downline level up without ever having to invite them to a challenge group, recruit them as a coach, and then train them. All she had to do was be an accountability or success partner with someone who is in her downline. So it's like, if they're in your downline, they're on your team. They're on your team. Just because they don't help you rank advance, just because you didn't personally sponsor them, does not mean that you can't produce more income. It means that you can. There was a call for the Team Boom Diamonds. This guy developed five-star leaders in his downline and made like a $300,000 raise in 1 year. And it wasn't even his coaches. He just helped them.
Yeah, and that's where it's Build to Last, right? Yeah, Build to Last. That book is incredible. And I read it before I felt like I was a leader, but again, we're all leaders. I actually have the book and the Audible. It has a lot of stuff I feel like the book's great for, but I also can only like listen to books right now. But it's a good, I highly recommend everyone listen to it. Because it's specific to this business and what we do, and so it really breaks it down where it applies directly. So it's a good one, just to be like a leader of leaders. I'm just going to take a glance through the chat.
Yeah, does anyone have any questions?
Okay, engagement, we're not getting a lot of it. Jen asked that. Yeah, and I know we've talked about that too. And I will say, you can kind of like in anything, like with coaches, with challengers, with your job, with your kids, like you can lead the horse to water, but you cannot make them drink it. But I encourage you, keep showing up, because if you quit, everyone quits. But it also comes to a point where, I mean, I've seen it in my business. I've had girls who have come around, they've stopped, they've come back around, they've quit. I mean, everyone goes, I mean, especially right now, we're in uncertain times. And I think right now is when people need the accountability even more. But I would encourage you just to keep, don't necessarily change it just because it's not working. But there are, I think you said you were starting to do more mindset stuff, like adding in mindset posts. I think that's a great idea. But I would just keep looking for people to add to it too. And it'll come around. I know with our challenge group, it's crazy. We will have a month where everyone's on fire, like months where everyone's engaging. And then we have a huge challenge group now. And I remember like probably in November, we have no one engaging. And we're like, what happened? But it's just, seasons change, things change. But I have had so many challengers reach out to me personally and say, you know what, I don't always post, or I never post, but I always see the post every morning and it really inspires me, or it really encourages me to go get my workout in. And I'm like, just freaking post. But, it's still like you are inspiring people. Just like when you're showing up every day, but yet maybe you haven't got anyone started. Someone is still watching. Multiple people are still watching. I promise. Let's see, anything else? Anything else? Any questions? Yeah, we should do a TikTok video. I've got to get TikTok. That would be funny. Yeah. Any other questions? You can unmute too.
Okay.
All right. If not, I did record, Mel.
Okay, good.
Except I gotta get a picture.
I'm gonna do. Should we shimmy?
Yeah, you do it on yours.
Okay.
It's a boomerang,
Ready?
right?
I'm gonna do a boomerang. Okay, ready? One,
Okay.
2, 3.
I love my boomers. All right. You guys have a good night. Happy Friday Eve, even though I think it's Friday. It is payday in the Beachbody world. All right. Thanks for joining. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.